Hey guys, welcome back to Top Tipper Betting Tips. I trust you had a fantastic day's racing and you're looking forward to the racing that's going to be taking place out at the Vaal. I'm going to have the postman tipping out at the Vaal, so I'm going to hand you over to the postman.
Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, no matter where in the world you guys are. And again, a big warm welcome to the Top Tipper family. Before we get into the selections for Vol, just some feedback. Very, very disappointing to find out that Desert Miracle raced unshod after being carded with Ali's all round. Unfortunately, when that was realized, you see that drift out, and then the stable companion got punted in, and Humdinger duly arrived. So that was one of those things that nobody knew about. Yeah, we must just watch things like that. Guys, Vol racing on the 30th, 10 races carded. We're on the Vol straight course. Really, really tough. Exotics, us guys at Top Tipper, we're certainly going to stay out. One of the toughest cards that we've seen in a long while. So if you're taking exotics, whatever, guys, please, please, please just be careful. Month end, we always get blessed with these tough cards. So let us go through the cards. As I said, 10 races carded. First is due off at 1200 hours. And we've been blessed with a work riders maiden plate over 1,000 meters. Guys, don't forget, check if there's any bias up the straight. If there is, please just adjust your selections accordingly. So in race 1, we've gone through this, and horse number 5, Pour Some Sugar on Me. Calcium Mayhew for Ashley Fortune. This one certainly looks like the right one in this race. I do believe that this filly they'll jump, they'll go to the front, and I think this will be really, really tough to peg back with only 56 on his back. I know it's very short, I think it's around about 7 to 10 at this stage in time, but should not get beat in this field. For second, and if you're taking swingers exactas, maybe look at throwing this one in, horse number 6, Count Your Chances. This is from the Fani Bronco stable. It's another filly in the race. 2 runs back, finished 2 lengths behind Welcome Breeze, has run behind Above the World, and I think that the drop in distance may just suit this one. So again, watch it go down, see how the work rider is sitting, and look, if you want to take a bet, maybe look at throwing this one in as well. For third, we've gone for horse number 1, fully automatics. This is Charma Mabaya for the Brett Weber yard. We go and look, this has had 15 runs for 4 places. This is certainly not going to go to Hollywood, but maybe good enough for back end of trifectas and quartets. And we move on to the 4th selection. This is horse number 9, Flying Broomstick, from the Billy Rater's yard. Again, 2 fair efforts. This one has room for improvement. And again, watch this one go down and obviously adjust your bets accordingly. Guys, there are a couple first-timers running here. You'd have to just watch the betting and see how they move down. As I said, we're not going to get involved in the first race, and we have gone, though, 5, 6, 1, and 9. We'll move on to the second race on the card. This is the first leg of the bipod, and this is due off at 12:30, a maiden juvenile plate, again over 1,200 meters. And in the second race, we find my best bet, and when I say best bet, obviously I'm taking price into consideration here, and I do think that horse number 6, Jerusalem Rain, Alda De Meyer for Ashley Fortune. I'm sure Alda's not going to Gauteng to look at the weather. There was a ton of support for this one first time out. Got pipped by Guy Gibson. I do think Guy Gibson is a fair sort. This is currently around about 15 or 16 to 10. And I really think that at that price, I don't know who's going to run this one over. I think if it gets beat, it has to be by one of the first timers. And as I said, my best bet on the card. Please just take note that horse 7, Lincoln Navigator, has been scratched. For second, I've thrown in horse number 5, Hawkbull. This is Craig Zaki for the Hoodalakis yard. Again, I think really, really decent sort. And again, went off at long odds, did finish behind our first selection. And again, should be there and thereabouts. For third, we've gone for horse number 3, Emporium. Filasanditoli for the Matchet yard. Finished 4th, also behind Guy Gibson. Showed a lot of pace on that occasion. And again, may improve, but I don't think he can turn the tables on the other two. And we've thrown that one for third. For fourth, I've gone for a first timer here. And this is Bretsky. This is Dennis Swaz for the Magna yard. This Son of New Predator, I like the way it's bred, and maybe good enough to fill in one of the minor spots. Bipot, smaller punters, banker the 6. I don't like to banker, so we're going to throw in the 5 and the 6 in the bipot. And as I said, we have gone 6, 5, 3, and 2. The third race on the card, this is Joff at 1300 hours, another maiden plate, this time for the girls, over 1200 meters, first leg of the place accumulator. And in the third race, my narrow first selection is number 9, Queen of Camelot, JP van der Merwe for the Hoodalakis yard. Did have one run, was a decent effort, finishing third to Fire and Flames. I really think that Queen of Camelot will be there when the whips are cracking. Has to go very, very close. I'm just looking at the betting. I think this is also around about 17 or 18 to 10, and I think it's a fair price. For second, I have gone for the 13. This is White Hills. Ray Danielson for the Magna yard. Again, the form is there for all of us to see. Some decent runs. Last time I did have excuses. If I'm looking for a negative, I have no idea why Gavin Arena would have jumped off this one. But on strictly on form, must be included in all exotics. For third, we've gone for horse number 3, and this is Callum Mureta. This is Aldo De Mayo again for the Fortune yard. Last time out was running on really, really well. If you watch a rerun of that, watch and see how our first selection does in the second race. If that arrives, maybe promote this horse as a decent first selection. But should be running on when others have cried enough. And again, visiting jockey Aldo De Mayo is not there to look at the weather. For fourth, we have gone for horse number 5. This is Mickey's Bomb, Craig Zaki for the Broncos yard. Again, fair effort under the hands of Craig. Did show a lot of pace last time out. Was hanging in the latter stages, but we can look for improvement from this daughter of Lancaster Bomber. So the third race, we have gone 9, 13, 3, and 5. And I'm going to put our top 3 selections in both exotics. The fourth race on the card, this is Joff at 14:35, maiden plate over 1600 meters, and this is the first leg of our pick 6. And I do think that horse number 2, I really think this is a nice value bet. This is US Open. We go and look at that 4 lengths behind American Biscuit. Did have excuses on that occasion. Was a first run back from a rest. Certainly will strip a lot fitter than that occasion. And I think round about 6-1, I think is decent each way value. For second, guys, we've thrown on horse number 6. And this is Broadway, Gavin Arena for the Clarkson yard. Has got some average form. What brings this horse to my attention is Gavin Arena taking the ride. And when Gavin jumps on for one of the smaller yards, one must certainly have a look there. I see the owner is Joshua Peter as well, and don't leave this one out, even though it is a battling maiden. For third, we've thrown in horse number 3. This is Williamson, Donald Geertsen for the Stephen Moffat yard. Last 2 runs have been fair, nothing to write home about, but has been fair. Again, I don't think this is the strongest field in the whole world. And again, for larger perms, throw this one in if you're taking pick sixes. For fourth, gone for horse number 9, Knight's Table. Craig Zaki for the Hodo Larkus yard. Tries the 1600 meters here. Last time out, over 1400 meters. I see there was it went off at 16 to 1, opened at 10, did drift out. But maybe they were expecting more. However, it was drawn badly on that occasion. So maybe we can look for a bit of improvement from horse number 9. You know, in quite an open event, we have gone 2, 6, 3, and 9. And as I said, I do think 2 at round about 5.5, 6 to 1, I think is decent each way value. Fifth race on the card, draw at 14.10. This is a maiden plate over 1600 meters. And we go through here. For me, there's only one horse in the race. This is horse number 2, Broadlands. Gavin Arena for Sean Terry. I think the form is much stronger than what it meets here. If Broadlands cannot win today, it will never win a race, in my opinion. And I'm not going to talk anything any more about it. I really think 2 is a bank in all bets. And as I said, should dawdle this one. And we have gone 2, 1, 5, and 4. Move on to the 6th race on the card. And my apologies, let me just get there. The 6 races due off at 14.45. A mid-rated 66 handicap over 2400 meters. Another very, very open event. My narrow first selection is a 3 prime example. Aldo de Meyer for the Ashley Fortune yard. We go and look, has got some fair form over 2400 meters. And I do make this one the horse to beat in a very, very, again, difficult and weak event. For second, we have gone for horse number 2, and this is Absolute Value. Samango Kamala gets the ride here for the Fabian Habib yard, and Absolute Value did win its last 2 races. I do think it will jump and go to the front. I don't think it will have it all its own way, but again, must be considered, must be included. For third, we've gone for horse number 7, and this is Lady's Answer. Ryan Munger for the Fortune yard. This won at long odds last time out with Neo Kwali aboard. Has shown improvement over a bit of ground. And again, maybe good enough to go pretty close in a very open event. For fourth, we've gone for the 8 Barmaid. This is Chase Marjan for the Burgess yard. I expected a little bit more last time out. And when we go and look, was not too far off them, finished just over 2.5 lengths behind them. Did have excuses on that occasion. And again, if seeing out to 2400 meters, maybe good enough for back ends of trifectas and quartets. So in a very, very tough race, we've gone 3, 2, 7, and 8. We move on to the 7th race on the card. This is due off at 15.20, a middle stakes over 1000 meters. And in this event, I do think it's a match race. My narrow first selection here is horse number 4. Here Comes the Rain. Gabriel Peter for Corey Lensley. I go through and I look at this, carrying 58 on his back. Did have excuses last time out. Is coming back from a 10-week layoff. And again, has run to some fair sorts. And I think that if this one is fit and well, will really, really make its presence felt. For second, we've gone for the obvious choice, and this is the ultra-consistent horse number 1, Sheldon, Gavin Arena for the Janse van Vuren yard. My only problem here, I think the stable's gone a little off the boil. I'm waiting for them to turn the corner, and on straight form, must go very, very close. Again, carrying top weight of 62, I think it's going to be quite a tough ask. But this is a decent sort, and again, as I said, it can certainly make its presence felt. For third, we've gone for horse number 6, Nice Raffia, Big Eyed Girl, Keegan Demeta for the Van Vuren yard. We go and look at this one. This has run behind Sheldon before. I do think that Keegan will jump. I think he'll be up there and may be playing catch me if you can. Again, big negative. The stable for me is not firing on all cylinders. For fourth, we've gone for the 8, Siberian Steel, Chase Marjan for the same yard, carrying only 52, with a bottom mass like this, must be considered in all exotics. So the 7th race, again, a tricky event. We've gone 4, 1, 6, and 8. We'll move on to the 8th race on the card, draw off at 1550, may rate at 84 handicap, over 1400 meters. And when we go through this here, my narrow first selection again is horse 5, the Mauritian. This is Kiki Demeda for the Crawford yard. Put a line through the last run, the saddle slipped, the horse finished fatigued. If you watch a rerun there, he was gone a long, long way out. Did have valuable excuses. But we go back and we look, 3 lengths to Jibby Don, 3 lengths to Dice. These are decent efforts. The Mauritian must be included in all bets. Have a look, watch this one. This is a punting. I know the Gujaras will have a go if they think that it has a chance. So have a look on this here, but I certainly won't be leaving the Mauritian out. For second, we've gone for the 4. This is Johnny Dogs, nice roughie here. Matthew Thackeray for Robin Clarkson. Last time out, you put a line through that. I think it was outclassed. Jumps back to the 1400 meters. As I said, last time out, JP van der Merwe didn't ride this one out. He thought something was amiss, but has got some fair form. When we go back and look there, 2 lengths to seeking the 1. 2 lengths to Never Too Clever. I don't believe this is a 20-1 shot. I think it's a lot better than that. And again, if you're taking exotics, don't leave this one out. I certainly think that round about 9, 10 to 1, this one can certainly make exotics pay. For third, we've gone for horse number 13 here. And this is Admiralty Arc. JP van der Merwe for the Boertus Forsloo yard. Last time out, finished a long way behind Sequoia. But the time before that, in the hands of JP, was slow, was running on really, really well. I do think the distance will suit. And again, shouldn't be left out of all perms. For fourth, guys, we've gone for horse number 1. And this is Unconditional Love, Striker Australian for the Crawford yard. Big weight to carry. He's a second run after rest. And again, maybe good enough for me back end of trifectas and quartets. So we've gone 5, 4, 13, and 1. And take note, guys, horse 15 has been scratched. Move on to the 9th race on the card. This is Joff at 1625, classified stakes over 1400 meters. First selection here, horse number 1. And this is Caliber Crest. Samanga Kamada for Joey Somo. I know this one is coming back from a lengthy break. Joey's only runner for the day, but if this is fit and well, I think this is the horse to beat. For second, we've gone for the 7. Suryavaraman. This is Dennis Swans for the Tony Peter yard. I know it has been running in Fairview. We know how well Tony's done with these horses coming from Cape. Again, watch this one go down. I certainly won't be having a go in this race. If you're taking exotics out, for me, this is a field race. Really, really tough. For third, we've gone for the 12 at Timbavati River. Ryan Munger for the Fortune Yard. The Fortune Yard may have a really, really good day. I've gone and looked here. They've pulled the blinkers off. I prefer the blinkers to be on. But anyway, they've pulled the blinkers off, put it over a touch more ground. Again, watch this one go down. For fourth, we've gone for the 10. Welcome Breeze, Craig Zaki for the Hoodalakis yard. Last time I did have excuses, put a line through that. But the form prior to that is fair, you know. And again, 10 to 1, this may be worth a small place bet. Again, watch it go down. As I said, very, very tough race. Pick sixes for me, this is a field event. And in a very open race, I've gone 1, 7, 12, and 10. And please take note, guys, at horse 4. And that is Fogbank has been scratched. So race 9, 1, 7, 12, and 10. Move on to the lucky last. and this is due off at 1705, another classified stakes over 1400 meters. And in this event, my first selection, again, open event, is horse 8, Sage King, de Gavea for the Crawford Yard. Has got some fair form, cannot be left out of anything. For second, we've gone for the 5, Blue Waters, Gavlarino for the Hoodalakis Yard. Again, Gavin jumping on here, the lights start flashing. Don't leave this one out if you're taking any bets. I think round about 9 to 2, watch it go down, maybe worth a small each way bet as well. This is not a bad sort. For third, we've gone for the 1, and this is Run for Cover. Aldo De Meo again for the Fortune Yard. Decent effort last time out, finishing second to Robert Burns, and again could certainly make its presence felt here. For fourth, we've thrown in horse number 11, and this is Mescal, Caden Brewer for the Broncos Yard. Very, very speedy sort. We go and look with the bottom weight of 52 will certainly assist here, and again maybe good enough for back end of trifectas and quartets. So again, open event 8, 5, 1 and 11. Guys, as I said, we're not going to get involved in exotics. We think it's very, very tough. If you're taking doubles, maybe use the 5th race at 2 in all your doubles. Look at the second race. Very, very tough, guys. Be careful. I'm sure there'll be better cards to come. Watch for betting changes. Watch for jockey changes. Again, now I've got to say, watch for equipment changes. Look after yourselves. Take care. Even back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks for that input, the postman. We appreciate that. I see you tipped a 10 race program out at the Vaal. Your bar pot, your PA, your jackpot 1, jackpot 2, and your best bet Jerusalem Rain at 15 to 10, and your value bet US Open at 4 to 1. So please, Lord, let them arrive for the punters. We've been in hot form lately, and let's keep it going. So guys, all in all, enjoy, have fun, break a leg, and cheers for now.